What's up, fellas? Been a while since I've been live. I'll give it a couple minutes for some people to come in here. This is just to pop up on my part. I know it's been a while since y'all heard from me. Since last year or what so forth. Um I just wanted to throw something out there before I really get into building the studio. The next live stream I plan on doing is gonna be me rebuilding the studio. Earlier today I made a post about how I lost like I want to say 2 or 3 gigs of work. Not, what I'm saying, like as far as my files go. Oh, 2 or 300 gigs. That's what I meant to say. So for me, that's a lot. That's a lot of created files. That's a lot of programming I've done on my part, scripts and so forth. We had I want to say we had like a electrical storm. There was a lot of lightning and stuff like that, and the power went out where I live. So, and I wasn't paying attention. I shut down every other device in the house. I forgot about my main PC. So I lost a lot of files. So I'm going to be rebuilding those and moving on from there. But aside from that, let me talk about what's been going on. Now, I've popped in here and there on Machismo TV, as well as a few other streamers I support. Shout out to them. And I've been going through a lot of stuff as far as political reasons, right? In the last couple in the last year, which is the last time I want to say I did a live last year. And a lot has happened in the meantime. A lot. So we got a lot of political stuff going on since before the election. I've been dealing with a lot of personal stuff as far as getting my house and stuff in order. I had when I first moved out of Washington State, I had some issues. Spent a lot of money, ended up moving into a house, what I'm saying? It was like one of those rent to buy situations, which I highly do not recommend. And the owner reneged on me and decided to sell to somebody who offered them over $100,000 more than what I was willing to pay. So I had to let it go. So I had to put my nose to the grindstone and really buckle down and fix a few things so I can buy the current house that I'm in now. Now, if you've seen my community tab in the last, couple months, I've been rebuilding my studio. Hold on one second. I've been rebuilding my studio and I pretty much got it like 65% where I wanted to go. I'm going to be building the wall behind me so I can turn my cam on so you don't be distracted by the background because I know y'all seen the pictures. I showed all the boxes and so forth of what's going on. So I just wanted to pop up here on live just to let you know I'm still alive. I'm still doing my thing. Still paying attention to what's going on to the onto the space. And just chiming in and giving my 2 cents on what's going on. So eventually I'm gonna get back to doing live content here and there. I at least want to go. What up, man? What's up, Shaka Nulu? Man, nice to see you in here. Yeah, I just wanted to come on here and give my 2 cents here and there and let you know what's going on with me. I secured the house back in October. Finally got all the internet and everything that I needed set up so that I can really produce some live streams. I plan on turning the cam on this year, and instead of using this avatar, because this is actually a picture based on what I look like. I use AI to, not like these other dudes. They'll do an AI picture and they'll throw it up there. And I'm like, damn, this is based on what I've been through. And I gave the prompt specific cues. And this is pretty much me. I'm bald as hell. I ain't even gonna lie. But since last year, since the election, pushing information forward, I couldn't take advantage of it because I was too busy working and stuff like that. I would do my due diligence here and there, look at some political stuff, and then go from there. Uh, but you best believe the rest of this year is going to be epic. I got some stuff planned. I happened to recover a lot of my resources. I ended up losing a whole hard drive. What trade am I in? I'm in the electrical trade right now. I'm not working in the field, but I do have licenses in two different states for industrial electrician. Right now, I'm working at an aluminum factory as an operator. I'm trying to get on as a maintenance guy, which is along the lines of what I've been doing the entire time I was in the military. But like, if that don't work out, I'm going to get my master's electrical license, and I'm going to go off of my own, if not heading a company. So I'm very close to getting my master's license. I got a little bit of studying I need to do, and I just got to take the test. But I do have a journeyman's license. Um, yeah. I'm in the IBEW. I was in local 46, and what I'm doing here is I'm trying to. I'm not in the state that I was in before, which is Washington State. So I'm gonna try to strike out and do things on my own. Like here, all you need is a master's license. You can open up your own shop, and you can go from there. Up in Washington State, it's like some communism type shit. You had to get your master's license, work for a company, um, and do a bunch of stuff before you can strike out on your own. Whereas where I'm at now, I can do my own thing once I get the license, and then I can take the. I was gonna get the I can either get the contractor's license or the master's license, and both of which allow you to operate your own company. So that's where I'm at right now. Like as far as IBW, I'm fully vested. So once I retire and decide to stop working, I can draw a pension from them as well as the previous local I worked for. So I'm already drawing a disability pension. I got the army pension coming soon. Once I get all my paperwork straightened out, IBEW, disability, and the army pension. Once I get all that stuff straightened out, I'll be straight. Let's see. You didn't get rid of your ticket, right? No, 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 no. No, I still I think I'm still on the books for now, but I haven't paid any dues in a while. So that's my issue with them. Like, I went through a hard time while I was out of work for about damn near a year, man. So I got some some dues lined up that I got to deal with. Oh yeah, oh most definitely, man. Like I'm not worried about retirement because I got like two or three pensions coming all consecutively. So that's what I've been working on, and I've tried to share this information with other brothers in the space. Some are receptive to what we've gone through and what we've done as far as the military and then blue collar work. Because I understand that there's a lot of people that say that, hey man, you got to pay for trade school. No, 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 you don't. Not to the degree that most would expect, but if you went to an apprenticeship with one of the unions, they normally pay for either all your schooling or a great portion of it. And because I was in the military, I was able to use my GI Bill to supplement some of the costs. And in addition to supplementing the cost, they paid me the basic housing allowance, which for Seattle, I gathered what $2,800 per month on top of everything I got paid, as well as my disability. So like, there's ways to get around a lot of stuff, and if you want to know how that goes, just leave me a comment with the email. I can tell you how it works, and we can have a conversation from there. But yeah, I just want to let brothers know what I was going through. As far as like what happened in Washington State, a lot of the guys I work with ended up going out east to work in different locals because what happened in Seattle with the folks staying at home, working remotely, and what that did was that paused a lot of construction. which is why now I didn't do helmets to hard hats. I learned about that program later after I got out. Like that's the crazy part. I had no idea. What I did for my apprenticeship, I used my GI Bill, like the new Montgomery GI Bill. You can use that to pay for your schooling as far as your apprenticeship goes, which is why I'm not a fan of these people saying that black men don't need to go into the military, where that's the best we can do. So I was having a conversation earlier on TikTok where a young lady who said, we were going back and forth, and one of the brothers I follow, King Hollow, um, what he was doing, we were talking about the black community and stuff that was going on. And this lady chimed in, and towards the end, we were talking about. I said something about the military, and she tried to push back on us, like, no, 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 no. I was like, the military has the ability to push most black men to the upper middle class. And a lot of people don't know that. They don't realize that. So, like, with the benefits that you get out of it, whether you get hurt or not, like I actually got hurt. So, you don't want to be on that side of things, but I got hurt. So, aside from getting hurt, um, I had plenty of benefits prior to that. Because I got hurt, I got additional benefits. Yeah, that's what's up, man. It's the only one cat for the chair force did helmets to hard hat. Yeah, yeah, for real. Like, and that's one of the things they asked me when I joined the union. Was I part of the program? I was like, no, I had no idea. So, like for me, um, when I was getting all my evaluations and stuff like that, I already had some college. I had an associate's degree at the time. I was going to art school. And I realized, like, art school is not going to pay the bills. So what I did was I switched from art school to figuring out what actually paid money. And I realized that, if as an electrician, I can go everywhere. Back in 2018, it was pitching the whole Green New Deal, this, that, and third. Who's in the middle of that? That would be electricians. That would be people who work with their hands. Somebody got to build this stuff. So what I did, I ended up looking for programs, and then I found electrical work. Prior to that, my training has been in computers, detection systems, meaning uh, night vision goggles. I've repaired like 1,000 of those, thousand or so of those. Thermal vision, optics, stuff like that. My title was 94 Fox, computers and detection systems repair. So, that's an important part of combat. If you can't see what you're shooting at, what are you shooting at? So, and that's the most I can tell you without getting myself in trouble, without violating certain laws. So for me, going into electrical work, that was only natural. I've been repairing electronics for 20 something years. 20 something years. I've been repairing 22 years at the minimum. I've been repairing equipment. And when I became an electrician, I continued on repairing equipment, installing electrical, found, you know, groundwork, infrastructure, and so forth. Right. You got to forgive me. I'm kind of tired. I'm trying to wiggle my way through this. But what I want to impart to the men in this space is that there are several paths to get to where you want to go. Now, I know with AI and stuff like that, you want to jump into those fields because those fields offer you the most return for what you're willing to go through. And what I mean by that is you got to actually study, you got to stay abreast of everything, you got to keep paying attention to the trends. And Theo Waff and Machismo TV will help you with that. If you go back and watch the tech support streams, they will tell you exactly what's going on. Now, for me, I like working with my hands. I can do the computer work. I do have several network certifications, and I can go into that same work, but like you got to find your best fit. Like I like working with my hands. I'll never be without work because stuff always has to get fixed. There's data centers going up all over the place. I worked in one data center for Facebook, and that's as far as I can go as to tell you about that work because I did sign an NDA. which is wild to me. I never had to sign an NDA until I worked on a project for Facebook. Now, you're going to see that happen all over the place. For some of you brothers who happen to get into the fields and apprenticeships and stuff like that, you're going to have to sign NDAs about the specific things that you do. Even if you go into the cloud space, you go into AWS and stuff like that, I imagine that you're going to have to sign some NDAs. When I worked for Aberdeen Research Laboratory that designed the MRAPs and stuff that we use in Iraq, like 'cause there was a period of time like between I signed up in 2000, got out in 2004, ended up working for a contract in 2005 for Aberdeen Research Lab, signed an NDA. That company is non-existent. So the NDA is null and void. So I can talk about what happened there. So basically, what they were doing was designing the MRAP, certain munitions, um, all types of vehicles, and they would fire these different weapons at certain islands and so forth. I've probably seen what they've used on Venezuela, but I didn't know what it was. So I can't elaborate on it. And I'm just being honest with you. Um, all right, here we go. I said I'd rather be inside wireman loud than low volt. Yeah, I get it. Like we had both of those. We had low volt, we had the high voltage guys, which is what I was when I got my license. But you know what's weird is like soon as I got my license, I got laid off. I got laid off constantly. It's like if you're not in the middle of the club, you didn't know a whole lot of people, had been in the field for a number of years. If you were a brand new journeyman, you were the first one to get laid off. You'd last hired, first fired, if that comes to mind. Now I'm not sure what city you're in, Shakanulu. Um, but like being on the West Coast, yeah, the money is higher, and I will say you got the best training. And I'm waiting on a certain position to come open, not at the company I'm working at now, but a certain position is going to come open, and I have higher training than most people because like I had the opportunity to go work for Google, one of the Google data centers here. I turned it down because their healthcare wasn't all that great, and at the time my wife was going through a lot. So it is it is what it is. Uh, I love being haul trash in Vegas. That's what's up. Um, I gotta let me find this individual's name, and maybe you can tell me if you know this person or not. Let me open my Facebook. Um, I happened to work with one of the females from Vegas. So I'm not going to be on here too much longer. But I happened to work with a certain individual from Vegas. They were a journeyman ahead of me, and they were training me around the time I was a fourth year. In Washington State, you had it's a 5-year training program. So I think I was a fourth year at the time, and I had to work under this individual. Maybe you know her or not. But let's see. Let me look them on Facebook here. Cause like it's a small community. It's like the army. It's a small world. A lot of these electricians know each other and so forth. As far as like working non-union, I'm not too worried about not having a ticket. Um, the union I was in, like I've seen some stuff that I don't really care for. Like I hate pulling the race card, but it seemed like the last company I worked for, all the black men were given their papers before everybody else. It didn't matter if you were a piece of trash, didn't work very much, and even if you expressed your concern to the general foreman, they got to stay on, and the rest of us got to go. Got to go. I will say with utmost certainty that I probably put out 150%. I corrected a lot of people's problems who were journeymen. When I was an apprentice, I corrected a lot of problems as far as like emergency power, understand the schematics. You know, I was the type of dude that pulled out the manuals on the I didn't just look at the cut sheets. I went and found the manuals for certain devices just to make sure they were installed correctly. And I get what you're saying about the ticket. Um, but the people at our hall who enforced those tickets, they were just they didn't understand what was going on. I've been called before the president several times to explain myself, and I had to tell him, like, look, man, I'm not gonna pull no punches. These folks don't read manuals, they don't do anything, and yet I'm in here talking to you. You need to go talk to those folks. And that's the way I kept it. And I did it as respectful as possible. But yeah, like, hey, shout out to you, Snowman. What's up, man? Long time no see. Um, when it comes to doing all this work, like we all know how this goes. Like you either do it correctly or you don't. And you always get people who take shortcuts. When I worked on Climate Pledge Arena, where the what do you call them? Where the Seattle Kraken play. There was a lot wrong with that place. A lot. Like we did a lot of home runs. Like there's no boxes. If you've ever been to that arena, there's no boxes in the main foyer or any of the places where the customers sit. It's all home runs. So that meant a lot of MC cable going all the way back to the electrical room, which is not right. It could have been done a whole lot simpler. But if anybody ever has a problem, now you got to trace out MC cable that was painted completely pitch black all the way back to the electrical room. I feel sorry for the individuals who have to deal with that place. Let's see. Here we go. Yeah, man. I've shared the pictures before in the past. Of what happened in the Climate Pledge, man, it looked like spaghetti. Like if you ever look at the old I can't remember which what is it, The Matrix? Which one of those movies where there was like the spaghetti everywhere and the freaking sentinels all over the place. That's what it looked like. It was insane. But everything had to be a home run, and they were like, there's electrical rooms in every single corner on every single floor. And you had bus bars that went, not bus bars. What's the word for it's been a while since I worked it. But like instead of bus bars, there were these huge buses that went between the floors and across certain floors that connected all the there was electrical room in every corner of every floor, and you had substations on the bottom. And that's if I remember correctly. So everything had a home run going all the way back. Then you had the bus bar containers that went all the way back to one corner, and you had like it was nuts. Like even the lighting had their own home runs just for this arena. Just for this arena. Hold on one second. Yes, love.
How long are you going to be down there?
Probably another 10 minutes, and I'll be upstairs.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Eventually, I'd like to see you before wedding.
Okay. Give me a second. I'll be done here. All right. Sorry about that. My wife called. Yeah, bus floor to floor. It's really not no joke. Like you had home runs all over the place. Like I got a few of the schematics in my file somewhere. I got to find them. Um, and it was wild, man. Yo said, "Dude, go put away them groceries." Like, nah, man. We've been busy this last couple weeks, man. Like, and it's my fault. We hadn't spent a whole lot of time together. I probably worked about 75 hours in the past week, so I understand why she's upset. and she wanted to, she, and she wanted me to go upstairs. Well, that's why I told her I won't gonna be here more than like 10 minutes or so. But I just wanted to put something out there and talk to y'all, man. Like one on one. I just wanted to talk to y'all. I just wanted to talk to y'all. And new sticks, but hey, bro, this is common sense. You know what's wild? Like the way I started this channel, I was like, this ain't news, it's common sense. And then I happened upon your channel. I was like, oh, I can't even say that no more. Can't even say it no more. Because I respect what you're doing. I respect the grind. Like I show up in here and there. Like I know the last couple live streams that you've done, I forgot to hit the like button and let you know my presence was there. But like I was at work, man. Like my schedule flips. I do 2-2-3. It's like you're 2 days on, 2 days off, 3 days on, then 2 days off. So like, and then it flip flops so that like you might be on day shift one week, and then the next week you're on night shift. So like it kind of messes with your sleep schedule. For the longest, like I didn't know what day it was, to be honest with you. And that's me working at an aluminum factory. But my next move, I'm going back to electrical. So eventually I'm gonna be back in the space working with electrical work. You know what I'm saying? I had to get my boots on ground. I had been out of work for like a year at this point. When I started last April, I've been out of work for damn near a year, man. And you got to pay the bills. You know, you got to pay your child support. You got to pay your bills. You know, uh, what is it? Unemployment does run out. Like you get like 6 months of unemployment. It's only so much you can take. So you take whatever job you can get. But I got a bunch of electrical companies trying to get my attention, and I've sent quite a few resumes out, so I'll be swapping back over. Let's see. Shakanulu says, "What's crazy is I was listening to one of my lives from 2 years ago, talking about the Navy and trade and on the come up. I'm working nights now too. Yeah, yeah. Like it's real out there, man. Like it needs the conversations that a lot of people don't have in this space, like what black men are actually doing. Like you get the loud minority talking trash about us all over the place, but when we are actually doing something that pays a whole lot, nobody pays attention. Like we've been talking amongst ourselves for the longest, and nobody pays. Now, I'm glad they don't pay attention to us, so you don't get the leeches coming there trying to pick certain folks off. But like the conversation I was having earlier when the young lady said that don't hey, what's up, hood hobbies? Don't encourage folks to go into the military. Like, nah, fuck that. Me and old buddy King Hollow, who on TikTok, say no, that put me in the upper middle class by going into the military because, like I said, it paid for my education, and because I got hurt and I spent so much time in the military, like even if I didn't get hurt, I could transfer my benefits to my children. That takes away the uh the having to take out loans for education, which a lot of people don't get. So you get all these folks, and the conversation is you get all these people that have to take out loans to get their education. What about you? What about if you, as parents, which is what we were supposed to be doing, decide, hey, I'm going to stop this right here and now. My kids will not have to start off at a deficit. And we did something to propel our kids forward to the point where they don't have to go out and take all these student loans. The complaint nowadays is that there's a lot of people who have to take on student loans to get their education. But what if your parents had did the work for you? Wouldn't you be better off? If that makes sense. And you're absolutely right. In the military, like this is common sense says, in the military, they pay 100% of your tuition while you're in on active duty. They pay 100%. So even when I was deployed, I got my degree when I was deployed. And what I did was I was taking classes. I got up in the middle of the night. I was doing my schoolwork. People asked me what you were doing. So, man, I'm doing my school, whatever. You know what I'm saying? I didn't explain it any further than that. But so what I was doing was like I was taking my classes. I made a couple shortcuts by finding the books for college online because like a majority of the books that you can find like some type of shady link or whatever where people have posted the book online. Even some of your college books, even if it's a year younger than the book that they require, the information doesn't change. So what I was doing was like I would find like uh I was in art school, so introductory to drawing 101 or something like that. You had to read the stupid ass book, even though I knew how to draw. I found a book that was a year younger than the book they asked me to get, and I used that same book to get through school. There was virtually no different. We all know the college hustle. Every year they want you to buy the new updated book, but a lot of times the information doesn't change. So sometimes you can find those books online, or you'll find some individual who's selling their book, and you can get to use the book and still make it through the class. And that's what I did while I was in. I finished my degree. When I got out, I was like, you know what, college, it's not my thing. So what I did was like, let me go do something that makes money. So I looked at the trades, and that's how I ended up in the trades. I used my GI Bill, the new GI Bill. They paid for my schooling while I was going through the trades, and they gave me a basic housing allowance. For Seattle, it was $2,800. So every month I got $2,800. They paid for my school as long as I was in class. They gave me $2,800 per month as long as I was in the program. And then once my GI Bill, like it depreciates by 25% every 6 months. Because I was a disabled veteran, I was able to go into there's another program. Crap, I'll come back to that. And when I went to the other program, once I find the name to it, I got a blank right now. They gave me the same thing and it didn't depreciate. So I was able to extend my benefits and go forward from there. Let's see. Look at these some of the comments. So they got accepted to the San Francisco Academy of Arts in '93. That was a black barber. Hey, I believe you, bro. I believe you. Like, but when I saw the way things were going, because I saw AI art coming, and I saw that the wages for graphic design was going on, I was like, screw that. I was going to Savannah College for Art and Design. And once I saw that, the wages were like kind of dropping, like as I was going through school, I kept looking at the Department of Labor, and I noticed that it was going down and down and down. I said, man, I can't support a family on this. Let me go to something else. What do people really need? What's a job that I can take on that would always be necessary, and I would always have a job? I've done mechanics. I did that in high school. I didn't want to be under nobody's hot car for the rest of my life. So from there, I was like, let me do something different. Then I got into electrical work after high school. After my military career, I got into electrical work. I was doing the art school, graphic design. Towards the end of my career, I served about 22 years. So maybe the last 4 or 5 years, I was going to art school. And then I stopped that. And then I went into the electrical work, which was easy. And because I was a veteran, that opened the door for me. And that's the other thing about joining the military. Like, there's so many doors you can open just by joining the military. You have a greater chance of getting killed driving to work than you do in combat. And that's the truth. All right, let's see. Common Sense says, I was just talking about that, how through us, the school system failed the kids. They're not equipped to deal with technology outside of making videos. And you're absolutely right. Our school systems have robbed us of so much. Like, it's insane. I was talking to my oldest son about what we had to do in high school, and he looked like he was straight thirsty for information. He looked disappointed. See, my oldest son graduated in 2018. And I was telling him, he asked me, when he asked me how to balance a checkbook, I was like, "What? Like, wait a minute. They didn't teach y'all how to do a checkbook in high school? Like what? Like we had that in home economics. I was in middle school. I was literally in middle school. It's like we didn't get anything after middle school, but they gave that to us in middle school. It's crazy to me. So when he asked me that, like I'm gonna say the next week, I sat down with him and we went through the checkbook, how to sign it, and so forth. This He didn't even know how to sign his name cursive. This is 2017, between 2017 and 2018 when he asked me this. See, we had been practicing cursive for the longest. Those of us in my generation, I graduated in 2000. 18 years later, the school system has been robbed, absolutely robbed. They took the trades out. You know what I'm saying? I have my own opinion about the trades. Like, I think that they took the trades out of school so that they can keep folks dumb and not on the path to become millionaires. Because the fastest growing field of millionaires is blue collar workers. Those are guaranteed millionaires. So many individuals that I know who own their own shops, who are part of the big market, they make, 2 to 300,000 per year. Like it's crazy. And you're absolutely right. Analog clock. I trust me, I've seen it all. My same son who asked me about the cursive and checkbooks, he couldn't read the analog clock. I had to break it down to him. Like we've been robbed of so much information, it's insane. Like even with the trades, it's just absolutely insane. And I thank the brothers in this space for talking about what's going on and continue to push out the information that I can only give my opinion. And when I get to a good point where I can show you more of what I've dealt with, like if you go back to my video catalog, I showed what the trades make. I went through several trades, and I would like to go on and expand on it, which the rest of this year go on and expand on it and show y'all where I'm coming from with it. Like a lot of us have done the work, we've been through it. We can show you exactly what's going on and let you make your own decision. I'm not going to tell you what to do, but make your own decision. Just make your own decision. Let's see, 5% nation. Hang on, let's see. The 5% nation of gods on earth actually helped a lot of youngsters read the clock through the supreme mathematics. And that is correct. That's correct. So moving from that point, I'm gonna leave you with this question before I get off here. Why do you think it is that they don't teach this knowledge going forward? I have the theory that certain folks want to make the entire population stupid so that it keeps them in power. This is the fastest way to end up to you ending up in a dictatorship. I promise you that the folks that are overseas who are in dictatorships thought that the people who were in charge had their best interests in mind. The population was kept stupid. They removed certain things from school when I went through school. I thought school was stupid until I got older. Like, wait a minute, those classes actually paid off. What they were trying to teach me back then, I was too immature to understand what was going on. And now that I'm older, I realize what they were trying to do because everything that they taught me has been undone. The removal of trades from schools, the removal of civics, the removal of home ec, the removal of certain types of certain parts of social studies, the removal of teaching folks to think for themselves and instead of how to excuse me, instead of how to think plays a big part in what we're doing. And just like Shakanulu says, because knowledge isn't power. What do you think the knowledge? What do you with that knowledge power? If I give info, where's your power in the future? That is a great question. That's a great question, which kind of puts me on the fence because I believe knowledge is power. And why these folks remove knowledge from certain people so that they can always be in power. See what they've done to the black community is only a fraction of what they're planning for the rest of the world. And just like the new math. Oh yeah, my youngest son, that dude tried to bring me that damn Common Core shit, and I told him I couldn't help him. I was like, either I get what your teacher's trying to say, and I had a conversation with the teacher. I was like, why are we going through these extra steps when we can divide by this number and get right there right away? No need to think about like the math that we were taught was already simple enough. This adding columns and putting numbers here and there to get to the same damn answer that I would have got to what 5 minutes ago. It's crazy. All right, that's why I said it's power when you do something with it. Otherwise, it's just stagnant. You're absolutely correct. See, like people of our generation were allowed to be free with the information. Um, they gave us the information, and we had to be creative with it. Like just like for example, like our research papers. Our research papers, the ones we had to write back then, weren't any like chat GPT, same old answer. You actually had to be creative with how you interpreted the information. You had to be creative with your thesis. You had to come up with your own things. It's like when I talked to my like back when my kids were in the house and they asked me for help with their papers, their thesis had to go along certain lines. They weren't allowed to think outside the box. I mean, I helped them get A's on their papers, but like it was insane trying to navigate through all this stuff and talk with their teachers. Like, wait a minute, like, what are y'all doing? And they would explain to you like they have certain guidelines they have to meet. See, they're being taught how to think. I mean, not no, no, what to think. Correction, what to think instead of how to think. If that makes sense. Like it's wild to me. I'm grateful for the Upward Bound program, which is all over the country in different colleges, because they taught you um, how to think for yourself, and I'm grateful for that. But I have low expectations for our kids nowadays. But anyway, I'm gonna get out of here. I got some stuff to do. Yeah, I didn't plan on being here this long, man. Appreciate you, Shakanulu. Appreciate you. This is common sense. Hopefully, this conversation sparks a lot of conversation going forward. And y'all let me know. Let me know. Leave me a comment on this live stream, and I'll see y'all on the next one.